Hey people, I'm going to start this movie off with this little clip I found on Facebook. I'm not going to say anything about it because I done learned my lesson. But this is going to be part 5 of the Tower of Babylon. And it's going to be a lot better than this video they're shooting. So this is a short line, number 7. It's really easy to get. I highly recommend looking the rest of this series where I read the first 6 lines. And it gives a good clue to this mark here. That this meaning to just go ahead and read this. Have an EVENRDE. You see here it's have and then in red. Having read embellishes. Having read embellishes. Septus. And so, having read, having done been read it, having unread the Wenvel, WNVLESES, embellish, SHS, embellishes. And to confuse there, embellishes. And they'll say this embellishes is meaning to make more beautiful and attractive by adding ornamentation to decorate, having read the embellishes. And they'll say it comes from the old French embellir or enveloir. But it's plain to see the word embellishes, coming from Judaism, most common typeface for print of Hebrew. And it's this script that's embellished, has all these marks on there. All these extra marks. So, some of them give clues on how to read it, and some of them are just to throw you off. Coming from this mezuzah scroll, coming from a Deuteronomy, and attached in the case to the doorpost of a house in accordance with the mitzvah. To write the words of God on the gates and the doorposts of your house, to embellish your house. Having read embellishes, spot us razor, low lays 'em of. This is spot us, SPT, and then right here this little mark puts a U up there, US, to spot us. And the spot us razor, to cut. And then twice, Lallays, Lolas. And La is having to do with the moon. And lays 'em of. And Shia's put. The Messiah is from the word shy. You'll never see him because he's shy of the spot. And Shia's put. Not one man, but the Shia. Messiah means from shy, and that's where this word's coming from. Shy is put Rahu. And so in the rest of this it was talking about the astrology and how to separate the year. And so, having read the embellishes, the septum, the spot to use, SPTUS, the spot use, the septus, to cut it off in between the 7, the septus, the razor, RSAR, the razor, to cut La. And La is the moon, La, and lays, the moon lays from of. And that's how they was figuring out their calendar, where the moon crosses to get the lunar calendar on. You got your 7 planets. And then you got Rahu and Ketu, the serpent's head, the serpent's tail. The serpent's head goes at Easter, the serpent's tail goes on the opposite side. It's your 2 lunar nodes, the north and south node. Here they got Rahu number 2. And here I'm not sure, they got Ketu number 2. But Rahu goes on about the time, is Easter. Where the sun crosses the equator and then the moon crosses the equator. It's the only places where you're going to have solar and lunar eclipses. is where the moon crosses the same place where the sun does, which is right around Easter, Rahu and Ketu. You know, you see all this old Egyptian art where the cat's always cutting the head off of the serpent. And I did a movie on it a long time ago. I had found some writings that said that it was Bastet was the cat that linked the upper and lower Egypt. And that was the idea, was linking, you know, this time above to the time below, you know, or linking, you know, the serpent is the moon, running them S's across the sky, and linking up the calendar to match up every year, match the lunar to the solar calendar. They had to trim some off. You know, sometimes they add a month and sometimes they trim them. And I don't see anything about it in Wikipedia. I don't remember where I found those writings. I'll have to go back and find that movie. I think I left this cover on that movie and figure out where I found those writings at, because Wiki says nothing about that. Wiki says it's Atum that was the one that linked between the upper and lower Egypt. But it's pretty easy to tell that they're symbolizing Rahu here. Why footsie have mit Amishes all in a pan, pickle, shares sours, which they'll a loving not our. You know, this line up here has you come back and read this again, so it's why, meaning how or who FX, you know, FTS, foots, and then back here footsie, and then again footsie have. Who footsie have? You know, that's when you're in good with them, playing footsies under the table. And mit, you know, backwards, starting with an A. Mit means with. Mit Amishes. Two S's here. Amashses. Amishes. All in backwards and forwards. In INI. In a pan. Pickle. Shares sour. It's. So who's playing footsies with the Amishes? In the old Indian astrology, you had Ketu and Rahu sharing lordships with the 7 planets. You had Ketu, Venus, Sun, Moon, Mars, Rahu, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, and then go around again, Ketu. And so that's Rahu and Ketu that are playing footsies. They're playing footsie, have mit. You know, mit is with Amishes. Amish is a title of an official in the German Swiss cantons. You know, an office, Celtic borrowing related to the beginning of ambassador. And so the canton, you know, is coming from a corner. A division of a shield occupying 1/3 of the chief. In the 4 corners, you've got, you know, summer and winter and fall and spring. And you've got Rahu and Ketu playing footsies over here with spring and fall. I believe this come out of the camera in Dendra. You could tell here by when this was drawn. This is Rahu here, and you could see his little hat of Ben on. And so he's lined up here with Gemini. This is Gemini, Taurus, Aries, Pisces. They had all the same signs. Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, back to Pisces. And so you can see, you know, this is Rahu down here playing footsies. And at this time, you know, if you lined up with the center, it's lined up right here between Gemini and Taurus. And so that dates this, you know, back around the time of Genesis writing. You know, Genesis is written in Gemini. In Genesis 3, in the Greek, it told us that Gemini was the 2 of them found they were naked. Who footsie have mit Amishes all in a pan, you know, I-N-I, Inna, and then P-N, in a pan. A pan is, all around, Panavision, all in a pan. And then pickle, P-K-L. And, in a pickle, that comes up in Genesis 4 at the bottom when it says, and then the men began to call on the name of God. And it says when they were in a pickle is what it actually says. So in a pickle, means when you got yourself at a tight spot, when you're drunk. But I'm sure it has another meaning in here. But all in a pan, in around the pickle, the share, and then the A-E is E-S, so it's the share, and then S-A, and the little mark down here tells me to put a U up there, S-A-U-R-X, a sours, all in a pickle sours. And I'm sure that it's just to rhyme with the hour too, all in a pickle sours. But it always has more meaning in there. And the pickle sours, which, and then the dot in the D tells me it's a TH or a double D. And being they only have one, it pretty much lets me know that this is a TH, the which they'll, THL, they'll, a love and not hour, a love and not hour. And so that possibly has to do with the eclipse. You're not loving that hour when the sun dies. Everybody panics. Who footsie have with the lords of the corners, all in a pan, all in around the pickle shares sours. Maybe they're sharing some whiskey sours while they're collecting the money from the people who are scared to death. That they told them that they were the god of the sun and they're going to turn it out come the eclipse. Which they'll to loving not the hour is what it sounds like to me here. And this is going to date some of that ancient architecture in Egypt here. And this is all then backwards and forwards NKN. And I would usually read this second one as an M, but these lines up here tell me it's not the end of the word. I come back and read this ka twice. And so it's all knock Khafre. Oh, knock and give Khafre. The shame, the bevel. And so all that was knocking Khafre, shame, the bevel. Khafre, he's the one that built the pyramid of Khafre. And he had changed the bevel from his father's pyramid. His father was Khufu, and he had an angle of 51 degrees, 50 minutes, 24 seconds was the angle on his pyramid. But Khafre's was steeper. It's a 53 degree angle, 53 degree, 13 minutes. And so I'm sure it has everything to do with time. And it's not known when the rest of the casing stones were robbed, but they were presumably still in place in 1646 when John Graves, a professor of astronomy, had visited. So what's a professor of astronomy doing there? Seems like this professor also understood the Hebrew. So all knock and give Khafre, the shame, the bevel. This is bevel. BVL is what you got here. BVL, the bevel. Bevel is a slope from the horizontal or vertical in carpentry and stonework. Then key, is given for or because of, and to give misses backwards and forwards, M-S-E-S, to give misses. Believe, L-I-E-V-E, B-L-L-I-E-V, believe. My brother-in-law was asking me today what believe means. And I was telling him it probably means you're confused because he thinks he's a believer in the flat earth theory. He says King James told him it was flat. So that's what believe means, is you're confused. Oh, knock, Khafre. Shame the bevel. For masses believes past put cultures hours AUR. You know, the AUR is on the first day is the light, the or. You know, the little upside down Vav here, or a upside down upsilon they call it. So place that U between the A and the R. Culture the hour, it's summisms. The fix if the mixes, you the all in pinnacle shares the arch. Shares arch. So this isn't the last time it talks about Khafre here. You know, in the Egypt they always have several different ways to write words. It comes up the next couple lines here, and it's this old Arphaxad that was came 2 years after the flood to teach the astrology. And you see it reads backwards here with the tack. And so it seems to be another name for Venus, you know, to the disc copper. You know, the copper disc was Venus's copper, or possibly the sun. To the disc copper repax should. Repax should. SH and then a UD. And so it's always going to read backwards because it starts with an A. You know, and the next time it comes up, it's the same, except it doesn't have the U in there. And it's to the disc, the dish, Khafre, repax, through. And then the next time it comes up, it doesn't read backwards because it starts with the Vav. And so it's the warp, W-A-R-P, the warp case, K-S-E. And then it turns around here, the Khafre would shed. And then the last time it doesn't have the tack, it just reads the one way. And so it starts with the A, so it reads backwards. But it reads a little different here because as you pull this K over here, so it's the Dex of Khafre, DKS, Dex Khafre. But this Khafre and this Arphaxad is most likely where the word the discoverer come from. The discoverer, Pax had, comes from what? Shine. So I'm pretty good with numbers. I'm going to read this some more and check out the dimensions on that pyramid. And it's probably going to explain more about the astrology.
Don't forget. Hooty hoot, hooty hoot. I won't forget.
Alright, I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.